Well, good morning. It's good to be back with you here at Bible Study at Christ Table. My name's Kevin Young, and I have the privilege of being lead clergy here at Christ Table. If you'd like to know more about Christ Table, who we are, what we do, you can visit the URL right there, www.christtable.today. If you would like more information about this study in particular, that's also very easy to do. All you need to do is visit the URL right there in front of me. Right there it is. go.christtable.today/game on. There, you're going to find information about this study. You'll be able to download all the study materials there absolutely free. If you would like a printed copy of those materials, you can get a printed copy of those materials, of the study guide for the youth and family, as well as the main study guide for this, as well as a box filled with as well as a box that's filled with all sorts of other things to help you navigate that study. We also have a bag filled with chess pieces here as well, so that you can have something tangible as you walk through this study with us. We send those free to our donors, but if you'd like one, all you need to do is make a donation to Christ Table, and we are grateful to be able to get one of those to you. If you're not able to afford it or just want one to see what's going on, you can also just let me know, let us know, and we'll send one out to you for free. It helps us cover our costs and our expenses, but we're more interested in giving as much as we can away and getting the materials out there no matter what. And so go.christtable.today/game on. Today, we are in day 12 of the study, and our text for today is Romans 8:28. Hopefully, you've got your study guide with you. If not, we'll walk through some things that hopefully will help you kind of navigate today's study as we continue on in the Game On series, looking at the 6 different pieces of chess, one a week, in order to see what we can learn about personalities and strategies and helping us kind of navigate the game of life as well. This week, we find ourselves looking at the knight. Has always been probably my favorite game piece, especially as a kid. The knight was my favorite game piece. Now, we talked about this a little yesterday in the Sunday service, but if you're not aware, most of the game pieces can only move in one direction: diagonal, forward, backward, left to right, rank and file. The pawn can move 1 space or 2 spaces the first time. The king and the queen also have, in many ways, limited ways in which they can move. But the knight, other than all the pieces like the bishop and the rook and the pawn and the king, has a very unique movement pattern that is shaped. In fact, I'll go ahead and put it up right over there. The movement pattern, if you see it in the red, I'm a little red-green colorblind, so those kind of look the same and blend together for me. But if you can see it, the movement pattern is like an uppercase L. Now, that uppercase L can start in any direction and end in any direction, and that L can kind of flip, and you can start on the short end or start on the long end and end up or end down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But to be a little bit less confusing, I've essentially put in red the spaces there that the knight can end on. So if it's starting there, you see that kind of in this circular pattern around it, because of that uppercase L movement, those are the spaces that you could, with a knight, legitimately end up jumping to, which gives a lot of flexibility to the knight, and also oftentimes means that you don't see this piece coming, which is a huge strategy advantage when you're playing the game of chess. Now, the interesting thing about that is that the knight has the ability, it's the only one that can jump over opposing teammates' pieces. And so it strategically is a very unique and important and powerful piece, especially when the board gets crowded. One of the things that we spoke about a few weeks ago with the rook is that the rook is most powerful when the board is almost empty, when it's almost clear, because the rook clears large spaces and cannot move whenever other things are in the way. But the knight, whenever the board gets crowded and other pieces can't move freely, the knight becomes more valuable because they can jump over the chaos. And boy, I mean, there have been moments, right, in not just chess, but in my own life, where I wished that I could jump over chaos. You encounter chaos, and It blocks your way, it blocks your path, it makes you stall out. And who knows, you might be in a holding pattern for days, for weeks, for months, or sometimes even for years if things stand in your way with a job or with a relationship or with finances. And wouldn't it just be amazing to just be able to jump over all of the chaos in life? Knights in the game of chess have the ability to do that, which means that the knight thrives in messy, complicated positions and situations where other pieces get stuck. I wish that this described me, right? Maybe you wish that that described you as well, that you could be the knight, that you would thrive in messy, complicated positions while other pieces get stuck. And I know people like that who thrive in messy, complicated positions while other pieces get stuck. And there have been moments in my journey as well where that has been me. In fact, people probably look at me and say, you tend to create messy, complicated, chaotic situations because you thrive in them. And so that may well, it's not true that I create them, but I do tend to work fairly well in those situations around me. But when it's in my own life, I find it very difficult when things get messy or complicated. In a church situation, in an organizational situation, in a friendship situation, in dynamics around me, I'm very good at living like a knight, not getting stuck and helping others be unstuck and move through things. But whenever it comes to my own life, I find that a little bit more difficult to do and to navigate. And maybe that describes you as well. The Apostle Paul talks about that a little bit in our text today, whenever he reminds us that life is not simple. What I love about the Bible is that the Bible is consistently reminding us that life is a contradiction. Life is not simple. Even if you are a person of faith, that doesn't remove the complexities of life. It just gives a sense of purpose or reason or order to the disorder that we feel around us. Romans 8:28, Paul writes this to the church at Rome: we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him and who have been called according to his name. Paul doesn't promise here. I know that this verse is oftentimes used in positive ways, but Paul doesn't promise here that life will be simple. Doesn't promise here that everything in life will be explained to us. It doesn't promise here that everything in life will make sense. He just simply promises that God works in the middle of messy, complicated situations. He simply promises here that God creates something beautiful out of messy, chaotic situations, that he somehow or other weaves the tapestry and crazy threads of our life together into something that in the end will be beautiful, will be magnificent. And faith embraces that complexity rather than avoids it. Faith doesn't ignore or avoid the chaotic or messy situations. You can't run from it on a chessboard. Oftentimes you have to run through it. And so, in a way, Paul is saying here, be like the knight. Know that all things in the end are going to be unwound and uncomplicated. But for now, in the messy and the complicated, don't run away from it. But maybe God is calling you to run directly towards it. Faith doesn't require a simple answer, but can navigate life's beautiful complexity. We've spoken about this a little bit, right? That faith and certainty are opposite. If you can be certain about everything, if everything is simple, if everything is perfect, if everything is knowable and manageable, then there is no need for faith, right? There's no need for trust in the unseen or in something outside of ourselves, something outside of yourself. If all of the answers are simple and all the situations in life are simple, you don't need faith. Faith doesn't require simple answers, but faith can navigate life's beautiful complexity. I think many times of the night as being faith, as being that that mystery, that godlike character that can surprise you whenever it shows up out of nowhere in the midst of opposition and is able to, through its movements, navigate very complex situations in a beautiful way. And if you've ever seen a knight moving around, if you've ever seen a knight moving around a chessboard, you know what it looks like to see something move in complex ways that is also very beautiful. So we've been taking one question out of the several that are in the study guide, and you've got this one as well as all of the rest of them that I'm not going to refer to if you have the study guide. But at the end of each one of our studies, I've been putting up one of the questions from the study guide for that day. And I want to put up this one because I thought that this one was especially appropriate for all of us, even if you don't have the guide. Where do you need to let go of the need for simple answers and embrace the beautiful mess of life? Embrace the mystery or the unknown of faith. Where is that for you? Think about that. Write that down in your study guide that you've downloaded or that's been sent to you in the mail, or you can also let us know in the comments or the chat wherever you're watching. I'd love to see the answers that you come up with each and every day there as well. If you want to let all of us know some thoughts there to that question or the study in particular, whether or not you're watching live or at some point or other during the day today, or you're watching by delay during the week or months or years down the road, feel free to go ahead and comment or give us an answer to that. We'll still see it and we still appreciate it and love your engagement. It's been good to be with you today. Looking forward to being back with you tomorrow as we continue on through our journey through this piece, the night. And until tomorrow,